Hey guys, it's myaeomi and you're watching my channel. Welcome or welcome back to a brand new townie makeover video. Today I'm going to be doing my first ever family makeover, which is of course the Goth family. They're the most infamous family in The Sims 4. The most famous, I would say. Well, Goth is definitely the mascot of the Sims franchise, and therefore I took inspiration from the way they were portrayed in The Sims 1, 2, and 3, as well as in The Sims 4, before and after the patch update that gave them a new look, a refresh. And I also took inspiration from their traits, their storylines and stuff to create my own, and I also took inspo from the Addams family, because clearly the Goths are still Addams family. You cannot deny. So yeah, if you're interested in all this kind of stuff, stay tuned because I'll get right into the story, the lore, and everything in the rest of the video. So yeah, I did give them a little bit of a new look. Not even a little bit, a lot of a new look, okay? Because I did not intend to go in and change their features entirely, okay? A lot of overcorrecting later and they look like completely different people. Like, at this point, I'm just making them from scratch. So, yeah. I do think they look good, so I think that's all that matters. But if you're just upset by the fact that I did change their features and stuff, I don't think this is a video for you. Unless you want to stick around and listen to the lore that I have, and, you know, just take some inspiration or something. I don't mind. But let's get into the storyline. So I have it written here in my little Notion tracker thing. Bella is a vampire that met and fell in love with Mortimer, a mortal. He stayed with her after finding out she was a vampire, even though in the Sim world, vampires are typically scorned and shunned due to the stereotypes surrounding them. They married and had 2 half-vampire children, Cassandra and Alexander. And the town soon discovered that they were vampires, and the whole family was forced to flee to Forgotten Hollow, where they stayed in a hotel, like Hotel Transylvania or something, I don't know. So there, they met and befriended Flatty Daddy, the oldest and most respected vampire in Forgotten Hollow. He took pity on them and allowed them to stay with him as long as they paid rent. Fast got money, so no issue. Eventually, they ended up officially living in Vlad's mansion with him due to their close bond and Vlad's desperation for company after all these years living in a cold, empty mansion alone. So basically, from this, Bella and Mortimer met as children. They grew up, fell in love in high school and stuff. And Mortimer did figure out her secrets. I'm not sure how exactly he did, but he figured out that she was a vampire. Of course, him being a very like macabre sim. I did give the whole family macabre trait, by the way, just saying that. But him being like very obsessed with like the spooky and the scary and stuff, he would of course find this like so fascinating. Maybe this shared secret bonded them together and drew them closer together, and that's how they really deeply fell in love with each other and stuff. But he figured it out. She hadn't promised not to tell anybody, and he was like, I swear I will never tell anybody. I don't want to see you or your family in danger. Best believe I got it under lock. So they grew up a little bit more because this was high school. They fell in love, got married, had their kids and stuff. Cassandra and Alexander are also vampires. In The Sims 4, I don't think you can have like half vampire kids. They'll just either be a vampire or a sim. So, you know, I'm just headcanoning that they're half vampires. But yeah, at this moment where I am in my save file, they're just still living in Willow Creek and they have not been figured out yet or anything. I'm not even sure when I'm gonna have that happen. Like, I want to play with them on my own time. Maybe I'll even like make a Let's Play series sometime in the future while I'm playing with them. I don't know. But the plan is basically they're secretive and stuff, but they're well known and well loved in the community because they're like, oh my god, they're the Goths, you know, they're just that family. I imagine they're very like well known, very well loved, they're very elegant, and people really aspire to have like a perfect family just like the Goths and stuff, though they are a bit scared of their house. So people will be like, oh my god, I love the Goths, they're so cool, Bella is amazing, Mortimer is so handsome, the kids are so well behaved and proper and poised, and I would love for them to be a good influence on my children, blah blah blah. But I'm not gonna send my kids to their house, you know, like they're not gonna go over for a sleepover in that big mansion. Like I think that's spooky. I think that's very haunted. I don't know what's going on over there. So it's kind of like a juxtaposition. So the family's well loved and well known, but they don't trust the house. Speaking of the house, I do want to create a neighbor that will live either behind or beside the house, and the family will just be the Goths but not the Goths. Like they'll be very pink, very colorful, very vibrant, very bright, full of energy and that kind of thing. And I also want to make them have this beachy aesthetic because I'm thinking they could also secretly be in a cult. Maybe they're mermaids, maybe they're from Solani or even Delta Valley because there's a beach there, and they moved to Willow Creek, and they also stick out in the neighborhood in a different way because you know the Goths, their big mansion is very dark and not Willow Creek at all. But this family, they'll also be sticking out but in a different color, a different font, with a very pink, girly, maybe Barbie Malibu vibe. I'm thinking the parents will be just like Barbie and Ken, and then the teenage daughter is gonna be like Enid Sinclair from the Wednesday series. I have not watched it yet, so no spoilers please, but I am familiar with their dynamic. I'm somewhat familiar with her character. She's very like pink and colorful and so not Wednesday. And I mean, Cassandra is obviously Wednesday Addams. The whole family, the whole goth family is very much Addams family. And I was inspired by them when I was giving them their makeover. However, I didn't want to lean too heavily into it. I see other people do that where they just create the Addams family out of the goths. But I didn't want to do that. I thought it was so cool when people do it, but I didn't want that for my safe out. But they're very much gonna have the same like or similar dynamic and energy. And I'm also gonna create a counterpart for Alexandra in that family. I think it will be a girl. I'm not sure because I find that is much more interesting to create a girl with a very pink girly aesthetic than to make a little boy. Not saying that I couldn't do that, but my plan is to have them be best friends, him and the girl be best friends. They grow up, go to high school together, and then maybe they fall in love or something. That is if they don't get kicked out of Willoughby by then. But yeah, that is my entire plan, I guess, for the goth family and the other family that I want to create at some point in the future on my channel. So stay tuned for that. It won't be soon, but it'll be later on in maybe the year. Maybe I'll do that for like the summer. That'd be fun. A summer family. Oh my god, that's a good idea. Anyways, the family members of the goth family, which we are here to look at. I don't know why I'm getting sidetracked so often. They all have different dynamics with each other. So Bella and Cassandra, I imagine they have like a distant or maybe a difficult dynamic. I can't remember which one I gave them, but I can imagine like Cassandra, she's a teenager, she's a bit like moody and rebellious and that kind of thing. Not rebellious in the sense that like she's wearing black and it's not a phase mom, because that is literally them. Her phase is maybe just like liking pink and bright colors and that kind of thing. So I don't know, or maybe that's just her. I don't know, I'm not sure. I don't think she's like a rebellious or rude teenager, but she just doesn't want to be exactly like her mother. Her mother's like, oh Cassandra, you simply must blah blah blah, and she's like, mother, no. I don't want to do this. You're so dramatic. You're so extra. I like being a goth, but I don't want to be a goth. You know, the name carries such weight, and she doesn't want to live in her mother's footsteps. Whatever that means. I'm not entirely sure, but I think that'd be funny. And then Cassandra and Alexander, they totally have like a close, or I think jokesters. I can't remember. I don't remember what their dynamic was. I can imagine they're like regular siblings. They'll pick on each other. They'll argue. They'll fight, but they love each other at the end of the day. She might tease him. He might tease her, but it's all love. And Cassandra and her dad, they have it's either supportive or permissive dynamic. I think she's a daddy's girl. Her dad loves her. He dotes on her. He's always talking about his daughter, his smart, studious, well-mannered daughter. He also talks about his son like that, but you know, like his daughter is his firstborn. That's his baby, you know, will always be his baby. Where he and Alexander are concerned, I think they have a strict dynamic. Definitely. I don't think, I know they have a strict dynamic. He wants his son to be very smart, very focused on schoolwork and stuff, which Alexander is. That's his whole personality. He's a very like smart, book smart kid, but his dad is also like a bit stricter on him than he is with Cassandra, because he's a boy. You know, boys and their dads and that kind of thing, like, oh, you have to learn to be a man, or whatever the hell that means. I don't even know. But Alexander and his mother, I don't remember what the dynamic was. I made this family so long ago. Well, not made, I remade them a long time ago, so I'm a bit rusty on their dynamics, but I think they have a permissive dynamic. She's a boy mom, you know, like she'll let him get away with certain things, like, oh Mortimer, you're so tough on him, he's been studying all day, let him go out and play with his friends or something, you know. She's like the balance that he needs in his life. His father is like, yes, you need to hit the books, which he's more than willing to do, but you know, Albert and no play makes Alexander a little boy. So Bella has to step in every now and then and be like, okay Mortimer, let him have some fun, let him, I don't know, read a comic book or something. He can't just be reading, I don't know, astrophysics all day. I don't even know. And last but not least, the parents, their dynamic is very much either wholesome or steamy. They're very much in love. I mean, I couldn't see them being any other way. They have a very perfect relationship, I would say. They're just in love. They cannot get their hands off each other, basically. So their kids are used to seeing like a healthy display of romance and love and stuff, and I feel like Cassandra wants to find love just like her parents, and so does Alexander when he gets older and he's old enough to think about that kind of thing. He's just a kid, he's just a boy, you know. But I feel like that part of their life, their romance life or their love life in the future, it won't be anything negative, because they have high standards. They see what their dad and their mother's relationship is like, so they don't want anything that's not like that. You know, they see it's possible, so why can't it happen for them? However, just because they're a perfect couple doesn't mean they're perfect parents, and I feel like that's also going to affect the kids. So Cassandra might grow up, have a perfect marriage, but her relationship with her kids might not be as perfect as she wish it was, because she's used to the way her parents are with her. I mean, her dad is very like supportive and be like, oh yes Cassandra, you can totally do this, or blah blah blah, I'm your biggest cheerleader, blah blah blah. And I mean, it should be that way, but I mean, Bella is very difficult with her, you know. I mean, it could be just two girls in the same house, two ladies, you know how that can get sometimes, but I'm not sure. This is all just me talking out these ideas. Please let me know what you think. If you think they're a good idea, if you think you have a better idea, I would love to know. Please help me. I wrote this down, I wrote all this stuff out, and I thought about it long and hard, but it's not all set in stone. Stuff might change, stuff might be added, and all of that, but this is just what I have for now. I also have plans to add the other Goth family members back into the game. I want to add Bella's parents, dead or alive. I also want to add Mortimer's parents, Bella's brother, maybe even some other family members and stuff, like a long lost cousin or auntie or something, just to spice it up a bit. And don't worry, I will totally record those videos when I do get the chance to make them. I will record like a making the other Goth family members video or something where I create Bella's parents, Mortimer's parents, her brother, and I will also create another video where I'm creating the neighbor family that I was talking about earlier, the pink Barbie family. So stay tuned for all of that stuff, and also for the other townies that I'm going to give makeovers to in the future. So yeah, that is all I have to say for today's video. If you guys enjoyed it, if you guys like my storytelling or my story ideas and all, and I will love to hear what you guys would like to add. So yeah, that's all I have for today. Bye!